Welcome to Parents Make a Difference. I'm your host, Josie PV. Here on Parents Make a Difference, we're creating a platform where we're learning from each other and inspiring each other to help our children succeed. Today's guest has a wealth of knowledge. He was in the Royal Air Force. He was an English police officer and then had 42 years in the insurance industry. He became manager of a new brokerage called The Edge, and he will share with us how he was able to bring that business from 0 brokers to about 4,000 before he left. So I'd like to welcome to Parents Make a Difference, John MacKenzie, who likes to be called Mac. So Mac, welcome.
Hi. Good afternoon, folks, wherever you are.
Great to have you here. Wow. Now you have 3 boys, is that correct? 3 sons?
3 sons.
And how many stepdaughters?
I've stepdaughters. I've got two stepdaughters and one stepson who's deceased.
Oh, I see. And grandchildren, you have many grandchildren.
14.
14. And I heard you're also a great-grandfather?
Great-grandfather 4 times.
Wow. Wonderful. Wonderful.
So lots of experience in that department.
That's you've got a lot of background knowledge there, a lot of great stories, I'm sure.
Oh, millions of them. Some good, some bad.
How were you able to balance your professional life with your family life?
Well, can I start at the very beginning? When I was born, my grandparents raised me, and they were very, very loving grandparents. And my uncles and aunts were very loving to me as well. I was raised in a very loving environment. And so I learned early on in my life that life is tough. And I'll tell you why I learned that. I had a terrible speech impediment. Mm-hmm. I was excused reading at school because I couldn't read without stuttering and falling all over the place. So I learned very early in life that life is not simple. Life is complicated. One has to overcome challenges in order to proceed with your life. So that's where I started. Then I came to Canada. My son had asthma, and my doctor said either Australia or Canada would help him. So we came to Canada. I arrived in Canada with $20 in my pocket.
Wow.
$20. My uncle was my uncle. He was your friend. He was driving me from the airport to Paris, Ontario. And he said to me, "How much money do you have?" I said, $20. He said, "Wow." He almost drove in the ditch. So that's how I started in Canada. I did several little jobs, making some money until I went into the insurance business. And there, because on my background being extremely positive, I worked for a company that was also a very positive company, and was the director, the VP in charge of the company was his name was W. Clement Stone. He wrote a book, Success Through a Positive Mental Attitude, and he incorporated into the business the philosophy of PMA, positive mental attitude. And I learned as a child from my grandma that PMA, I didn't call it PMA, I didn't know what it was. My grandma called it determination. Mm-hmm. And I overcame my challenge with my speech impediment. My grandma would have me stand in front of a mirror we had in the hall and sing. When I sang, God only, it was so much it sounded terrible, but I sang anyway. And I didn't, I had no impediment then. Mm-hmm. And there was a girl I fell in love with. I wanted to ask her to a dance. I couldn't because I couldn't speak properly. But I eventually asked her, and lo and behold, she accepted. So that's how I overcame my my challenge. So I came into the world of insurance having really faced many challenges. The insurance business is a very tough business. And I worked for 25 years with one company. And then I was pretty successful there. And I built a huge sales force. And then David Prince, who was president of the Edge Benefits, approached me and asked me would I like to form a company with his company, within his company. I said, yeah, okay, fine. So I met him, and there was nobody. It was just me. There was no salesman, no managers, no nothing, just me. So I looked at that. I always laughed, but I said to myself, look, here's an opportunity to do something special in your life, to build something from scratch. So I started, and lo and behold, it evolved, and I became, I formed a sub office in Brantford, Ontario, as an agency, and I built that very successfully. And then the company policy changed, and they went to brokerage. So I had to learn all over again how to deal with brokers. And brokers are a different cat. Brokers are different from agents. Brokers are very independent, and you can't push them, or you can't question them, because they're independent and they work for different companies. So I learned very quickly about brokerage, and I loved it, actually. So I started off small, and I built, and I built, and I built, and I built, and eventually we went right across Canada. So I built 4,000 brokers, and the company has done very, very well. And they're now probably one of the top brokerage houses in Canada for what they do. Yeah, they're very successful. They have 100 staff in the office, from about 6 to 100. Yeah. Getting to my family, how did I incorporate my business and my family? Well, there's 2 different types of time you can give your children. You can give them quantity of time, or you can give them quality of time. I chose quality of time because I was busy building my career, building the company. So I made sure when I worked with my children, I was devoted to them. They got my time. I listened to them. I worked with them. I taught them to water ski, downhill ski. I was involved in their sports. They all played hockey. I was involved with that. I was a hockey dad, like you wouldn't believe. And I learned that whatever they needed, I could most times give what they needed as a result of my knowledge of life. So I was able to help them immensely in that way. And secondly, I believe strongly in a number of things. And I made a few notes. Do I have time to go through my notes?
Go ahead, share.
I taught my kids that family is the most important thing you can possibly have in your life, your family. I taught them to be a Christian. I don't believe in any one religion, Josie. I'm a Christian. I believe in God, and I believe in Jesus Christ. I do not have a religion per se. I taught my children to love your fellow man, have a good work ethic. I taught them the power of positive thinking. Success is achieved by those people who try and try again with a positive mental attitude. I taught them that. In fact, I was talking to my son yesterday, and I telling him on podcast with you. He said, Dad, I remember when I was a child, I had difficulty tying my shoelaces. He said, you put a sign up on my wall and said, all things are difficult until they become easy.
Well, love it. Yeah, that's wonderful.
I taught them that life is not easy. There's going to be trials, tribulations, that's going to happen. And I taught them what I taught you. I didn't teach you. I taught.
Say that quote one more time. I'm not sure they heard it.
Every adversity carries with it the seed of an equivalent or greater benefit for those who have a positive mental attitude.
Yes, you were a trailblazer with that. I understand that you were even doing seminars for the brokers to help them bring this mindset.
I taught many seminars over my 42 years in the business, and not only in the assurance end of the business, I taught them that as well, but I taught them about philosophy of the PMA philosophy and motivation and goal setting, all the important things in life which you need to be successful. I taught my kids the importance of goal setting. You can't go through your life just willy-nilly. You have to have something you can focus on to achieve. You have to focus on something to achieve. So I taught them.
What did you do to help them? What did you do to help them to focus more on their goal setting?
Well, I questioned, of course, I questioned them, what do they want out of their lives? Do they want to be an astronaut? Do they want to be a scientist? Do they want to be, and I zeroed in on what they wanted to be. And I said, well, here's what you have to do in order to achieve what you want to be. But goal setting is not as simple as people think. You don't say, well, I want a new car. That's goal setting. That's BS. That means nothing. Goal setting has to be conceivable. You have to be able to you see in your head, in your mind, that's what you want. Secondly, you have to be believable. You have to believe you can do that. And thirdly, most importantly, it has to be achievable. It can't be just a willy-nilly off the top of your head goal. It has to be conceivable, believable, and achievable. Then you have a plan of action. I taught my kids how to make a plan of action. Write the plan down. That's very important. Two powers, the power of thought and the power of vision. Check and inspect your plan. And if necessary, make adjustments. Time frame. You want a new car by when? Next Wednesday? A year from next Wednesday? You have to have a time frame. What, how, and when. Goals without a specific plan, Josie, are like a bird with no wings. It will never fly. Now, balancing your professional life with family life is not easy. That's very difficult, especially with a guy like Vince, who's very ambitious. A guy like myself was very ambitious. But it's something, I'll tell you, it's not easy. But it is possible.
Yes, possible.
It's very possible. It's very possible. Yes, very possible.
The time you were in the car going to these hockey games or sports games, that was great time together and time that you can be in, enriching the relationship. Time. So it's little things like that. You had talked to me about just even sitting at the table. Share a little bit about that.
Dinner was a must. There was no have a hamburger and sit and watch TV. Dinner was a family together. We discussed whatever needed to be discussed, sometimes heatedly, yes, sometimes argumentatively, yes, sometimes peaceful. Not many times peaceful, but sometimes peaceful. And we would hammer out whatever the challenges was. And that was our day of family time together to resolve any challenge we had as a family. And breakfast on a Sunday morning was also a very important thing. But I tried very with difficulty, believe me. Sunday morning is not good for young kids. They're sleeping. So we on Christmas. And a lot of parents, unfortunately, don't do that enough. They don't love their children. They may love their children, but they don't tell them. You have to reinforce something. You love somebody, you have to tell them, I love you. I mean it. Yeah,
even if it's out of your character, right? Some people, it's hard. They need to hear it. So we kind of have to push it out if it's not in our character to say it. They need to hear it.
Now, to this day, I'll tell you something. To this day, my second wife, Marilyn, you met her. Her children and my children are like brothers and sisters. In 25 years, Josie, there never, ever once been a wrong word between these two families. We have family get-togethers, and neighbors are come over, and they say, I can't believe you two families.
Beautiful.
They're like one family because they love each other. My family loves Marilyn's family, vice versa. So it's important that you tell your children you love them. And to this day, my sons always end a conversation with me with, I love you, Pop. My grandkids are the same thing. And so is Marilyn's kids and grandkids. Always, I love you.
Can I share? Can I share a poem that you wrote to them? To
Oh,
your
yeah.
sons, and they wrote, and one of them wrote back to you. I'm going to share it with the audience.
Okay.
See here. So this is Mac. You're dabbling in poetry. I see you're in writing. Wonderful. My son, my wish for you is simple. Have the very best life imaginable. Live like you will never grow old. Laugh, giggle, cry if you must. Play as hard as you work. Make time for the people and things that you adore. When you sleep, have the best dreams that will make you wake. Wake up with a smile on your face. And that you always, always know that you are loved. This is my wish for you. Be positive, be happy. I love that. That's beautiful. And then he wrote to you, one of them wrote to you out of the three sons that you shared with me, a letter to you, and it says, thank you, Father. This is something that Liam needs to read as well. It took fatherhood to make me see life with both eyes wide open. I said to you long ago that you are my hero. A hero to me is not a one-moment occurrence. I learned that listening to your philosophy on life and to have the courage to be the best in whatever I do in life has made me the man and father I am today. I certainly do not say it enough, Dad. I could not be more proud of the father I have, and I look forward to the advice and guidance I may need in the future. I have ensured that Liam knows the man you are as well. So Liam must be your grandson? Yes. There are too many situations to mention where I have heard your voice coming through me when I have had moments with my son. You continue to inspire me each and every day, Father. I could only hope to be half the man you are one day. I work hard to succeed, that's on me. It's your teaching and example that has driven me. Without that, there is no success. With pride and humbled son, Kurt. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah, it's my youngest son.
And
He's 52.
wonderful.
My youngest son. Yeah.
Your baby.
Yeah, baby, yeah.
Your example of trying to look at the positive, trying to teach them to look at the positive. Just posting those words up on the wall when your son was trying or learning to tie his shoe. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
beautiful, just beautiful, because being positive is very important, and not too many people from years past really saw that as something critical that I know of. I'm not sure. So it was beautiful when you shared how important that was for you. And I know even at 85, you are golfing a couple times. Did you say a month?
I go dancing.
Dancing, all right.
I'm still a very good dancer. So is my wife.
That's wonderful to hear.
I'll tell you a funny story. We were in where we Cuba. I think it was Cuba or somewhere. Dominican Republic. We went to a dance one night, and they were playing Dirty Dancing music. Within 10 minutes, they formed a circle around us. We were doing Dirty Dancing. Next day, walking along the beach, the couple was sitting there, said, oh, that's a couple who do the dirt dancing. So we love dancing. We still love dancing.
I think that's fabulous.
And I swim all summer, twice a day. I'm
Mhm.
fit. I keep myself fit. And thank God I'm still sharp mentally. Well, I think I am.
I think you are. No, that's wonderful. How do you deal with stress? How do you deal with
Well, stress is self-imposed. You know, when my stepson died, Tom, he was 44 years old. He died of cancer. That was very stressful. Very stressful. Very stressful for my wife. To this day, she still cries every day. I was stressed, but I said to myself, Tom was a wonderful human being. He gave himself to so many people. He helped so many people. And in the short 44 years he lived, he was a very good man. He helped many, many people. So I thought about the positive things in Tom's life, the wonderful things he did. So that helped me stress-wise. It helped me stress-wise. I loved him dearly, and he loved me. He loved me not like a father. He loved me, Mac, and I loved him like a son. But stress is something we all face. We get up in the morning, make a cup of coffee. My God, you're stressed before you finish your coffee. I mean, that's the world we live in today. I mean, go to the grocery store, get a shock when you get your bill. That's stress. But you have to deal with stress, and you have to look at the positives versus the negatives. You know, life is not a dress rehearsal. This is the real McCoy. You have one life to lead, just one life, nothing more. So you don't live your life with as little stress as possible, and you don't live your life happy. You don't live your life giving of yourself to others. I mean, what's the point? Not, life is like a snowflake. A famous poet said this: life is like a snowflake floating on the river. Here today, tomorrow, gone forever. That's life. You have to grasp life with both hands and hang on and live it and love it and pass it that on to everybody you know.
Yes. Yes, that's great advice. I want parents to be listening, Mac. I love your love for life, your positive attitude that inspired your kids, that inspired your businesses that you took part in. And we need to live life. We need to make a difference in our children's lives. Parents, thank you so much, John, for
No, I
Mac,
want to
for joining
I
us.
want to say one thing.
Yes.
Please let me say one thing. Your book you wrote, Jose,
Mhm.
I strongly recommend to your listeners they buy the book and they read it. It's very well written. It's absolutely one of the best books I've read on parenting. And remember, it's never too late to learn. I'm 85 years old. I learned from that book.
So
I
humble
learned
for
from
your
that book.
words. So
So
humble.
for
Thank
God's
you.
sake, people, read it, apply the principles, the ideas and the techniques, the suggestions that Josie's going to give you. And thank you, Josie, for allowing me to be part of your podcast.
Thank you. It's been an honor, and your wisdom and your attitude rubs off on anybody who hears it. I thank you. I thank you. I thank you. Parents, remember, you make a difference.
You better believe that.